Alright, let's take a look at Bitcoin. This is the daily chart for Bitcoin, and the data I have is to about 6:50 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on December 21st. It's good to see that after trading down for a while, Bitcoin is finally trending up this morning. Right now it's up about 3.5%, trading at 48.5. For the past few days, I've been spending a lot of time analyzing Bitcoin, and I keep on saying that I am cautiously optimistic that this could be the bottom, and now we are in the process of seeing Bitcoin stabilizing, and it will slowly reverse direction. It's good to see that Bitcoin is finally trading up today, and so far it crossed over both the 200 days as well as this very critical 10 days moving average. Now, the reason that I'm saying that I am cautiously optimistic of this possible reversal in price, because I was looking at the MACD indicator. There is a potential for this double diversion. As you can see on the daily chart, the price was trending down, but on the MACD indicator, the signal lines are trending up, as well as the histogram were trending up. So we have this double diversion, a signal to indicate that it is just a matter of time before the price would reverse and trend up following the direction of the signal line, which is upward. So does this mean that from this point on, we would expect to see the price continue to trend up and does not drop below this low point? No, that is not the case. Why? Because these two signal lines, even though now they are giving us a signal that in the very near future, the price would reverse direction. However, the two signal lines right now are still trading below this zero line. And as long as these two lines are trading below the zero line, there is always that possibility for the price to retrace and even retest this prior low. We don't expect to see the price break down. If the price ever retraces and retest this low, it will bounce up. While it is retracing, we would expect to see these two signal lines continue to trend upward. And the minute it crosses over the zero line, that would be the buy signal. And at this point on, yes, we would expect the price to continue to trend higher. For example, let's examine a MACD double diversion that occurred around the May to July timeframe. That's when we were in this bear market. The price was trending down, but look at the MACD, the signal line was trending up, histogram was trending up. So that was a double diversion and indications that the price would likely reverse. And at this point, we saw this reversal in price. Let's say if we were examining the chart right at this point, this also tells us that, hey, there is a possible for this double diversion. Does it mean that at this point here, we saw this spike up in price, does it mean that the price will continue to trend higher and never drop below this? No, that was not the case, because these two signal lines were still below the zero line. And because of that, there's this possibility, and that's what happened, the price continued to trend lower and retest this prior low. But while the price was trending lower, the two signal lines continued to trend up. Then the minute these two signal lines crossed over the 0 point, that was the buy signal. At this point here, we saw the price continue to trend up and never drop below this point. So that's why I think the same scenario is being played out right now. The good news is the worst case in terms of the price drop, I would say, is very much over. And this low, 41.9, is likely the bottom. We would see the price rebound after that. But just keep this in mind. As long as these two signal lines are still trading below the zero line, don't be surprised if the price retraces and retest this low before it bounces up. And that is what I mean by cautiously optimistic. So if Bitcoin ever retrace sometime in the very near future and retest this. Don't say that, hey, Vietmaxim said that this thing would reverse direction, and all we see is the price continue to trend lower. But anyway, since we get this out of the way, let's look at the short-term chart to see if we can determine how Bitcoin would likely perform within the next few days. All right, we're looking at a 1 hour chart. What we have here is a potential for this double bottom. As you can see, the price trending down. The minute it hit 45.5, bounced right back up and ran to about 47.7. That's when it get rejected. The minute it retraced and retested its prior low, it bounced up. So technically, bouncing up off this double bottom, the first target level should take it to this high, which is right at this point. And that's what happened. The price bounced up, tested that, and crossed over that on relatively good buying volume. So by able to cross over this prior high, now we are looking at the potential for the price to run higher as part of the bullish double bottom reversal. Technically, the next target should take it to about, this length would take it to about a little over 50,000. So given the fact that this thing already crossed over this prior high and on its way to reach the 50,000, right now the price ran up to as high as 49.5, tested this prior resistance, get rejected. And it is in the process of retracing consolidations. There's a very good possibility that the price would retest this prior high at about 47.7 before it bounce up, but it would likely run up to over 50,000 within the next 48 hours. There is no doubt that there is a very strong resistance at this point, beside the fact that this is this prior high. If we look at the hourly chart, when Bitcoin ran up and started to retrace, it was setting up this higher low. So essentially connecting this line, we have this downward resistance. So far, the price had been trending below that. And finally, for the first time in such a long time, Bitcoin is looking to test this downward resistance, a crossover and stabilize over that, really confirm this reversal in price. On the daily chart, the Bollinger Band is forming out very nicely. Band contracted, lots of momentum is being built up. The width of the band is getting very narrow. Definitely ready to support another major spike up in price. Price is currently trading over the 10-day moving average. If Bitcoin can close today over that and stabilize over that within the next few days, then we are in good shape. So in the short term, I expect Bitcoin to run up to about 50,000. The worst is definitely over. I do not expect to see the price drop below this prior low, given the fact that these two signal lines are still below the zero line. There is always that possibility that the price could retrace and retest this prior low at some point, but it should not break down and drop below that. I would expect to see the price bounce up, and the minute these two lines cross over the zero line, then we would expect to see this next bull run. So again, I am definitely cautiously optimistic that the worst is over. And the first quarter of 2022 would be really good for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto sector. That's it for this video. And don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim, because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.